JBNN will keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones. Before we get into the news, please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share the news with someone today. Now on to the news. Three men fatally shot, two police officers injured in alleged St. Catherine gun battle. A late-night confrontation between law enforcement and armed men along the Spanish Town bypass in St. Catherine ended in bloodshed, leaving three men dead and the two police officers injured. According to reports, around 10:30 p.m., officers attempted to intercept a white Toyota Axle motorcar carrying five men. When signaled to stop, the occupants allegedly opened fire on the police, sparking an intense exchange of gunfire. Two officers sustained gunshot wounds during the incident. One was treated and released, while the other remains hospitalized in stable condition. Three of the gunmen were struck in the exchange and later pronounced dead at the hospital. The remaining two escaped, reportedly firing at the police as they fled. Investigators recovered two guns from the scene and have since launched a massive manhunt to capture the fugitive. Police sources say the interception forms part of ongoing intelligence-driven operations aimed at dismantling armed criminal networks operating in St. Catherine and nearby parishes. The Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom has been notified and is investigating the incident. Man fatally shot after allegedly attacking police in St. James. A man was shot and killed during an alleged confrontation with the police on Monday night in St. James. According to police reports, the incident occurred around 7 p.m. along the Springmount Main Road while lawmen were conducting an operation. The police signaled the motorcar to stop, but its occupants reportedly opened fire, prompting the officers to return fire. After the exchange, one of the men, who remains unidentified, was found suffering from gunshot wounds. He was taken to the Cornwall Regional Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Another man, described by police as a known violence producer, later arrived at the hospital with gunshot injuries and was admitted under police guard. A rifle was reportedly seized following the incident. This marks the second fatal police-involved shooting in St. James over the Heroes Day weekend. On Sunday morning around 6 a.m., another man, also said to be a violence producer, was shot and killed during an alleged confrontation with police in Tucker, Granville. Officers reportedly came under fire while conducting operations in the area and returned the fire. A 9mm pistol was recovered from that scene. Police say both incidents are linked to Operation Endgame, an ongoing initiative targeting violent offenders in the parish. Operation Endgame continues to be a major thrust of the leadership to combat crime, and we are seeing the results, a senior officer stated. Manchester farmer gunned down by men posing as police. A Manchester farmer was shot and killed at his home in the quiet community of Canewood, northwest Manchester, early Tuesday morning. The deceased has been identified as 30-year-old O.J. Gooden, a resident of Canewood district in Comfort Hall. According to police reports, around 1:05 a.m., armed men claiming to be police officers kicked in the front door of Gooden's home before opening fire, hitting him multiple times. The attackers then reportedly set fire to Gooden's grey 2003 Toyota Corolla before fleeing the scene. Investigators are probing whether the killing is connected to a murder that occurred on October 12 in the same area. In that incident, Cheyenne Young, otherwise called Shane, a resident of Epping Forest, Comfort Hall in Manchester, was chopped to death and his dog butchered by an unknown assailant. According to reports, about 9 p.m., residents in Canewood district stumbled upon Young's body on the roadway. Councillor Rowan Kennedy of the People's National Party Mile Gully Division described the incident as deeply disturbing, noted that Canewood is typically a peaceful and close-knit community. Policeman arrested after being found with imitation gun. A member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF is facing charges of reasonable suspicion of complicity and possession of an imitation firearm following an incident at an event in Centon on Sunday night. Reports indicate that around 10:25 p.m., the constable, who is stationed in St. Catherine, was attending an event at Plantation Cove when he was seen in the company of several men running towards a motor car carrying a table. Law enforcement officers on duty at the venue approached the group and conducted a search of the vehicle. A further search of the constable reportedly uncovered a black imitation firearm. The policeman and the 6 other men were subsequently taken into custody as investigations continue. Police investigate fatal shooting on Crescent Road. The police are probing a shooting incident on Crescent Road in Kingston on Saturday night that left one man dead and another injured. The attack occurred shortly after 8 p.m. and claimed the life of 50-year-old Mark Clark of Spanish Town Road, Kingston. Reports indicate that Clark and another man were standing along the roadway when a red motor car drove up. Armed men reportedly exited the vehicle and opened fire on them before fleeing in the waiting car. Clark sustained multiple gunshot wounds to his back and arms, while the other man was hit in the left arm and back. Both were rushed to the hospital, where Clark was pronounced dead. Investigators from the St. Andrew South Police Division believe the shooting may be linked to an ongoing gang feud involving the Crescent Road and Kid Lane Bowens Road gangs. Police have expressed concern about the escalating violence in the area and say increased patrols and security measures will be implemented in response. Judicial review hearing on challenge to PM's election win set for November 18. The Supreme Court is set to hear an application for judicial review on November 18 regarding the decision not to void the September 3 general election results in the St. Andrew West Central constituency. The date was confirmed during a case management hearing held on Tuesday. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness secured a decisive victory in the election, polling 7,054 votes to 4,953 for People's National Party PNP candidate Paul Buchanan. However, days after the election, Buchanan challenged the result before the constituted authority, which has the legal power to declare an election void. Buchanan's challenge was based on Section 37E of the Election Petition Act, which outlines specific grounds under which an election result may be invalidated. After reviewing affidavits and supporting documents, the constituted authority determined that the evidence presented did not meet the required legal standard under the Act and therefore declined to void the poll. In response, Buchanan's legal team filed an application in the Supreme Court seeking leave for judicial review of that decision. The matter will be heard on November 18 in the Supreme Court. Man charged for a fatal stabbing in Bogwalk granted $1 million bail. A St. Catherine man who was recently arrested and charged with murder after being on the run for over 5 years was today granted $1 million bail with 1 to 3 sureties in the parish court. Junior Brown, otherwise called Shaka, is charged with the stabbing death of 40-year-old Kenneth Hyde, otherwise called Dudos. In applying for a bail, Brown's attorney, Said Bernard, told the court that his client is not a flight risk and will return to court. He also told the court that Brown was away from his community due to a threat on his life and that after it abated, he returned to the area and surrendered to the police. In granting bail, Senior Parish Court Judge Janelle Nelson Gale ordered Brown to surrender his travel documents and to report to the Bogwalk Police daily. Brown is to go back to court on February 6 next year. Allegations are that about 9:20 p.m. on April 15, 2020, Brown and Ed were involved in a dispute in the community of Springvale District in Bogwalk when Brown's girlfriend, affectionately called Queen Bee, intervened and a knife was used to inflict wounds to Hyde's upper body. Brown and his girlfriend fled the community. The Bogwalk police were called to the scene and Hyde was observed motionless in blood. He was assisted to the Linstead Hospital where he was pronounced dead. After failed attempts by the police to locate Brown and his girlfriend, both were listed as wanted. After being on the run for years, Brown turned himself into the police on Wednesday, October 1, in the company of an attorney. An arrest warrant was executed on him and was subsequently charged. His girlfriend is still being sought by the police. JBNN will keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.